Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul. In this video we're breaking down The Last of Us Episode 6 trailer. The new promos just hit HBO and YouTube, and throughout this video we're going to be going through the Easter eggs, hidden details, and links to the game. They actually changed up one of the locations so that it resembles how it appears in Part 2, and because of that we will be discussing elements of that game as well. If you don't want things ruined like the street is the street from Part 2, then I highly recommend that you turn off now, and hopefully I'll see you Sunday. But out of the way, thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into the trailer.
I tried with Sam. I wanted to save him.
Well, I reckon it's a lot more complicated than that. I'm looking for my brother. Tommy, those things that you judge me for, I did those things to keep us alive.
We did those things. They weren't things. We murdered people.
Be careful who you put your faith in. The only people who can betray us are the ones we trust.
Okay, so we start off with the HBO sign over the night sky. Here we then fade into the northern lights and catch Ellie and Joel sitting around a campfire. This moment wasn't originally in the game, however there was concept art created for it that showed Joel and Ellie together. Through the magic of television, they've now brought this moment back into the story to flesh out more of their time together on the road. She talks about how she wanted to save Sam, but that didn't work, and that it led to both his and Henry's death. She believed she was the vaccine, but Joel says it's a lot more complicated than that, and this is clearly the first time that Ellie started out she's the cure. So far, she's been very confident about it, but now doubt is starting to creep into her mind. We then cut to Jackson and get a split-second shot that's been shown in previous trailers. There are two big signs here that actually have callbacks to the game, and in the top left we can see one for the Lights Festival 2003. 2003 was when the outbreak happened, and this is another reminder of how everything in the world stopped in that year. Later on in the teaser, we see lights lining the street, and this is clearly tying back to that sign. For the festival, the lights would obviously have been placed throughout the town in the setup, and now the Jacksonites are getting things rolling so they can light up the city. Originally in the game, they hadn't really set up the town yet, and you spent the section with Tommy fixing a hydro dam located outside of it. Jackson was created for Part 2, and the showrunners are now retroactively making most of the episode take place there. It's also important to bear in mind that in the game at this point, it was autumn, whereas here it's clearly winter. This has clearly been done so that it resembles Part 2 a lot more, and it's the creative team kinda tying the two things together. Now to the right of the light sign, we can see one for the Tipsy Bison. This was the bar that appeared in the second game, and it's where a big moment went down involving Joel, Ellie, and a new character for Part 2. Now amongst the streets, Joel sees Tommy. Their reunion is different in the game, as he met him at the gates of the dam when the group had their guns drawn on him.
Don't even think about reaching for your weapon. Tell the girl to drop hers now.
Ellie, do as the lady says.
Hey.
Please tell me you're lost.
Oh, we didn't know the place was occupied. We're just trying to make our way through.
Through to where?
They're all right.
Wait, you know these people?
Know him. He's my goddamn brother.
Tommy.
Holy shit.
How you doing, baby brother?
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Let me look at you. You get fucking old.
Easy. It's going to happen to you, too.
This is Maria. Be nice to her. She sort of runs things around here.
Still though, they end up hugging like what we see in that. However, the pair quickly start arguing with each other, with Tommy and Joel talking about the horrible things that they had to do to survive. This is riffing on a moment in the game in which the pair discuss their past.
Tommy, those things that you judge me for, I did those things to keep us alive.
We did those things. They weren't things. We murdered people.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
Now next we see Maria telling Ellie to be careful with who she puts her faith in. This is clearly talking about Joel, and both she and Tommy know a lot about his past that she's not privy to. In the game, Tommy and Maria are married, and this may be something that gets brought up in the episode as Joel didn't know about the pair when he first arrived.
Ma'am, thanks for not blowing my head off.
Would have been embarrassing. considering you're my brother-in-law.
We all gotta get wrangled up at some point.
Ellie, right?
Yeah.
What brings you through here?
That's kind of a long story.
Why don't we bring him inside?
Yeah. You hungry?
Starving.
Ellie is also there with wet hair and a towel around her, so I'm guessing she just got showered in one of the houses. Now next we see a scene that wasn't in the game with riders approaching Ellie and Joel out in the snow. It's really difficult to tell what's going on here as it's a completely new moment and therefore we don't really know what's what. The people of Jackson did ride around on horseback a lot in part 2 and with Tommy being completely different, it could be them discovering the pair. If we go back to the start of the trailer, we see Joel and Ellie with a group of riders that look like they're wearing similar clothes, so I'm guessing that this is when they come across the people of Jackson early on in the episode. Now, in a very interesting moment, it seems like we're getting at least 2 sections combined in this one episode. In Jackson, Ellie actually ended up running off, and this was because she learned that Joel was going to dump her off on her Tommy. She rode off into the wilderness, and you had to track her down with Tommy, which is when you encountered some raiders. Eventually, you found her at a house, and then agreed to keep going with her, which is when you set out to the university. This is where the Fireflies were apparently located, but upon arriving there, you found it abandoned except for some monkeys. Raiders then attacked, and it seems like that's what's going on in this scene. We catch one swinging a bat at Joel, and in the background, we can catch the Firefly emblem spray painted on a dumpster. Now next we cut to a man carrying some rabbits. It's possible that we actually get 3 sections in this episode, as we are yet to meet David. His part was introduced with Ellie killing a rabbit while she was out hunting, and you bumped into him whilst you were both looking for food. We later learned that the raiders that attacked you at the university were part of his group, and they could potentially end the entry with a tease towards him. I think that would be the perfect way to close out episode 6, and then you know what's coming for 7. David is one of the creepiest parts of the first game, and he's such a big thing that I'd love to see teased in this moment. Now lastly, we catch Joel and Ellie riding away from the hospital while she shoots backwards. This is similar to how you leave the university, and if you look carefully at Joel, he looks like he's slumped over. In the game, he got impaled on some rebar, and he was badly wounded at this point. I think this is showing that the same thing is going to happen, and it's going to leave Ellie at her most vulnerable point. I think it would be crazy if we ended with Joel slumping over like how he does in the game, and then we got a tease of David coming in, showing just how much danger Ellie's going to be in. Episode 7's likely going to be a big one, and if all this stuff lines up, then I'm very excited for what's coming. Anyway, that's a trailer, and obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the teaser and what you thought about episode 5. I'm more than halfway through the show now, and I've been completely overwhelmed with how many of you are rocking with me. Really means a lot, and if you want to support the channel, we're selling a Last of Us inspired Real Fungi t-shirt, which will be linked as the top comment. That's over at our site Zero Edition, where we've got tons of merch that you can pick up and help support the channel. We're also running a competition right now and giving away Wakanda Forever to 3 subscribers on the 15th of February, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the teaser. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then our episode 5 breakdown's linked on screen right now. Definitely go check it out. It's our best video on the show, not even overhyping it. Yeah, go watch it right after this. Out of the way, thanks for sticking through the video. I've been Paul. Peace.